Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready here.
He's taken another one and another, and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow, that is going to be controversial.
That's a crunching right hand, and that must finish it. It must finish it.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab, eats a right hand, another right hand, and he goes down. Oh my goodness!
The dream is made real. Ricky Hatton rocks the world with a truly stunning win over a modern legend. He is the champion of the world.
Yes, people, back again. Raps on TV, here to talk the best things in boxing. Sounds a bit hollow, but it's all good. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all well. Here with my co-host, as per usual, Tom and Rafi. How's it going, guys?
All good, man.
All good here.
Good. Looking
Yourself?
forward to. I'm well, thank you very much. Looking forward to the UK invasion over in New York this week.
Yeah, not as much as you though.
Yeah,
You're going.
Coach invasion.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it feels, I don't want to say a wasted trip because it's always good, but it does feel like, it's not a Miller, it's not a big name, it's Ruiz. But nonetheless, guys, we do digress. So just want to say thank you for everyone that listened in the past, present, and future. I appreciate all the support. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. This week, it's not going to be a lot of topics, to be fair. We're going to break down Devin Haney's win last weekend on his DAZN debut. We're also going to obviously get into the UK invasion, i.e. Eddie Hearn and his Matchroom goons, led by none other than Anthony Joshua. Then he's going to be followed up by Callum Smith in a not necessarily a tricky fight, but an interesting fight against Ndam. And then obviously we've got Buatsi, Kelly, Coyle, Katie Taylor. So yeah, definitely looking forward to a packed show on Saturday night. So guys, tell us how you've been, what you're thinking about the fight coming up. Either one of you.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight this weekend. Andy Ruiz. I mean, we spoke on it the last few weeks. Not really what everyone wanted. Everyone's, early Christmas list or wish list is the Wilder fight. But I think Andy Ruiz definitely provides a stern test for Joshua. Tough, rugged, Puerto Rican, just by nature, is going to be a naturally gifted fighter. But in terms of having the credentials to challenge at the elite level, I don't see him meeting the threshold. I think Joshua's going to pull off. I think it's going to be an emphatic performance. I think because with the pressures of knowing Wilder's delivered a one-round knockout, Fury fighting in a few weeks on ESPN. There's the pressure's kind of built on now that he has to perform and he has to do it in impressive style. So.
Yeah, I'd echo that, to be honest. I think the pressure is on Joshua. No one's expecting anything other than what you're fearing going yourself. So, yeah, and I think in a way it is unfair on Joshua because, he didn't get the opponent he wanted. Precisely. He was, Ruiz was thrust into a position on very late notice because Luis Ortiz, for whatever reason, couldn't make it. And so in light of that, I think people are always going to say, Joshua didn't fight the caliber of opponent he should have done. But then again, he had no choice. And then if he pulled out the fight, that's the second fight in a row at a big location that he's pulled out. So
it's not a good start to 2019 in that sense. If you think back, like you said, the Wembley pull-out. So totally agree with you in terms of it's not Joshua's fault. And I can't even begrudge him because at the end of the day, we would have all taken Luis Ortiz as a replacement. Probably would have said he had a better chance of winning than a Miller, especially after the sort of drug cheat revelation. And also the little time Joshua would have had to prepare. But, Ruiz, look, he stepped up to the table. There were a few other guys. There was talk about Hunter. I don't think that's really going to be something that they would have made.
Well, it's not overly exciting, really, because we know, we've seen the proof's in the pudding. We've seen Andy Ruiz go 12 rounds. We've seen Luis Ortiz go the championship distance. Michael Hunter's relatively fresh, although he's coming on like a bit, not in terms of age, but in terms of, fights where you kind of want to look to see him breach that next level. Yeah. We've seen the likes of Andy Ruiz, veterans of the sport, within the heavyweight division. So they're fights that fans not only are going to be interested from a casual point of view, but also that the evidence is there that we know that potentially that they can take Joshua a few rounds and give him a few troubles early on.
Yeah, we'd hope for a little bit more than a few rounds, but obviously it's making the best of a bad situation. Andy Ruiz, I may be wrong, but he's unlikely to go the distance. For me personally, Michael Hunter, I get the idea that Ruiz is more seasoned, but for me, neither of them are really the test or the acid test for Joshua to break through in America in the way he and more importantly, Matchroom want him to, because Matchroom pulled the strings.
Yeah, and DAZN as well. And I think in terms of that, but you're right in terms of Ruiz, Hunter. They're not necessarily names that would really draw the crowd out. I think people are coming just because they want to see Joshua. Joshua in such a location. So the Ruiz, the Miller, ticket sales are good, but I don't think the opponent really decided that unless it would have been an Ortiz. For me, I think when I look at Joshua, I know a lot of people in the build-up have said, Ruiz got fast hands, or Ruiz this, if you really know, your stuff. To be honest, and I'm not going to say here that obviously I know what I know, but for me, Ruiz, I think he should get smashed. I think Joshua's going to take him out. I think he is a active fighter in terms of he tries to fight a lot, in terms of moving forward, throwing a lot of punches. But some of those are wild swings, and I really question his power. So forgetting the whole physique stuff about it, I just think actually with the rate he actually catches his opponents, how many times does he wobble them? I mean, okay, you saw the Dimitrenko fight, but who knew of Dimitrenko before Ruiz beat him? You look at the Parker fight, which is the one fight everyone refers to, and actually, what did he do to back Parker off? And Parker's a small heavyweight, similar to Ruiz. Joshua's elite, and he's fucking strong. And do you know what I mean? So
and the
for me,
there as well is like you talk about Joshua because he moves forward, but they like so-called boxing experts say about how Andy Ruiz lets his hands go, but that's merely against punch bags that are going to back off, box on the back foot, not come forward.
Exactly.
Joshua has the attributes to move forward, be aggressive, but also be contained in that aggression. To dictate and display his boxing skills.
Yeah, great point.
And Tom makes a really interesting point about its contained aggression.
Yeah.
Because you're referring to the wild swings, so it's an interesting mix for Joshua, and it's not something he's going to have had before on this scale, because everyone post Charles Martin has brought something to the table. Andy Ruiz does bring something to the table. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but it's a lot more subdued in comparison. And a lot of those as well. So,
and for me, I think it's back to that whole containment. And one thing I noticed with Ruiz is that even when he does throw punches, he gets caught. So he may throw 4, but all it takes is the opponent to throw 1, and he kind of stops in his tracks. Whereas he's throwing 3, and they're kind of just like, okay, bobbing and weaving, or they're not really being wobbled. So I just don't see how, with the reach, the height, the speed, the power, I just don't see how he's really going to get close to Joshua to trouble him. And if Joshua really wants to move to the next stepping stone, let's not lie, there is a bit of pressure in terms of the message he sends out to the US fans and to Wilder. I think he's going to go in there and destroy Ruiz. I mean, okay, it could be a late finish, but I think it's either late and it's just pure punishment, or he just smokes him, because I just think when Josh Ruiz gets hits, I can just feel it's like Charles Martin. Do you know what I mean? And if I was to say to you, Ruiz was fighting Dillian White, you'll say probably Dillian White knocks him out. Do you know what I mean? So why can't Joshua do that in equally good fashion?
There are some conspiracy theories, though. A lot of people are saying Joshua might deliberately go a little bit longer than he should do, just to give value for money and make it not look like a bad debut. I don't buy into that personally, but I don't know if you guys...
But like even with that, like putting on like a sort of just to say mediocre performance, doesn't that attract? Like that surely will attract like the likes of Wilder, Fury to come on and he look like he's beatable. This guy. Like Andy Ruiz, okay, you're not aesthetically going to be able to match Joshua. You're not probably speed, power, physique, whatever these attributes, but in terms of actually being able to fight on the inside, little things like that, fight on the inside, keep your distance. I mean, Wilder and Fury will probably take a lot of confidence, like you said there.
If Ruiz has success, and you're right on that. But that's why I think I initially thought it makes sense to let it stretch, because if he knocks him out in the first round, it's kind of like, well, this was never a credible guy in the first place, blah, blah, blah.
He can't win.
But I will say this, I think he can win, because ultimately it's about what Wilder done last weekend, and no matter what, it's 2 different opponents, but if Joshua can be equally fast, like, you get a sense from Matchroom and Joshua and Hearn, they really want the fight now rather than what they were saying a year ago. If they take out Ruiz within 3-4 rounds, I think that's going to add pressure now back onto Wilder to say, well, fight him. Do you know what I mean? None of this Ortiz again, or maybe Fury, but I think that puts the pressure back on Wilder.
It's a recurring theme, because like when you touch on, Joshua beating opponents, then waiting for the next cycle of who's going to be in line, the next 3-4 potential opponents. They're even more confident now of taking the Wilder fight. But then you look and see Wilder, having planned his next opponent being Ortiz. What's like this constant kind of going back to this whole politics and like who's not taking the fight, where the missing holes are, where the missing pieces to the jigsaw are, that's always going to be circulating around the forefront of the debate, because it's going to sooner or later it's going to become apparent who's not wanting the fight, who's not. And I don't disagree with Hearn saying that the fighters don't want the fight. I think they do. I think it's that whole advising, guidance.
And that's unanimous as well. A lot of people have said that, you know, pundits on Sky Sports, even Matchroom's own, obviously they're naturally to be biased, but everyone said it's not the fighters. I don't believe for a second Joshua and Wilder don't want this fight.
Exactly. And it's not even that they're afraid of each other. I think it's the timing. I think the timing of when it is, because I would say this time last year, Wilder was kind of putting the pressure on, making a 50 million offer, bloody blah, and Joshua wasn't as vocal as he is now. Hearn wasn't necessarily vocal as he is now. Now Wilder's kind of got a bit of success. He's definitely grown his profile. I think he wants to enjoy that a bit longer. And he's, in their mind, they're thinking, are there two ready-made fights? I still think the Joshua fight will happen within a year's time.
With who?
I think Joshua and Wilder, I think by next year, May, I think they will fight. I think they'll get, I feel that they'll get one fight out of the way, and then next year, Cinco de Mayo, they will just lay it down, because I think that's not a winter fight, in my opinion. So I just feel May, and it will be in the States. I think we've missed the summer now, so I think it's going to be next year, May. I wouldn't be surprised.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, exactly. But obviously, back to Joshua. I mean, if you're Ruiz, you get this call 6-7 weeks out from the fight. Obviously, you sign the contract, you agree all the terms and conditions. There's a rematch clause. In his mind, what kind of a game plan do you think he will be trying to employ to beat Joshua?
Stick it on him from the off, I think, because you it kind of brings back to the point I made earlier about backing off and boxing on the back foot. You can't do that with Joshua, because Joshua will walk you down. He's naturally more imposing. Yes. You know, he's going to be able to cut the ring off. Yeah. Although he's not like that kind of predator instinct when he gets someone hurt, but he's able to kind of, like you said, sustain punishment. Exactly. Give out punishment, and whether Ruiz is going to be able to. You know, is he just going to fold and be, look, like, I've come here 5 rounds in. I've had enough now. Let's go home to my family. Yeah. No, not like, obviously, like, go home and like make sure that you have your senses intact.
He's got a big fat check to go with it, so
exactly. And not bad for a night's work.
Yeah. Exactly. I just can't see anything other than that. But you're right. Stick it on him would be an interesting game plan. I want to talk about Joshua's chin, because there is perceived that actually he can be. He's got a bad chin. What do you guys think of Joshua's chin? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think?
I think Ruiz will probably take a lot of confidence from the last fight, because Povetkin wobbled him in the first round. I know he then broke his nose a little bit after, but Dillian White's had success with a shoulder problem. Vladimir put him down, and he hit other people with those shots, and they didn't fall, but that was a big shot. So you can't blame Joshua for falling when Klitschko hit him with what he did. You know, that would have knocked anyone out. But I think he will take a lot of confidence from Povetkin, because that's the most recent performance, and you're only as good as your last fight.
Yeah. True. And a shorter, stockier fighter naturally anyway.
Similar build.
Similar build. Yeah. So from a point of view of obviously we're saying Ruiz, he's got to go in there, stick it on Joshua. I mean, from Joshua's point of view, you know, we'll say how difficult, but, you know, do you think Ruiz is a totally different opponent to Miller? Do you think the game plan would have changed a lot? Do you know?
Stature-wise, I mean, there is a reach advantage, but you're still going up against a guy who's very, very stocky. He doesn't have one-punch knockout power. It's just cumulative chopping down a tree. Yeah. I think you guys would probably echo that in that he doesn't bring a lot of power to the table.
Nope.
No. And I think as well, Miller's naturally heavier, so he's going to have less mobility. He's not going to really be able to, although he'll be able to take a good shot on the body. I mean, with Joshua's power, it's probably going to be loose skin that's really kind of shown, because he ain't going to be, like, although Miller, he doesn't look terrible for 300 pounds, but he don't look compact. He don't look that kind of where he can eat punches. Yes. Whereas I think Ruiz he's just a natural fighter. I think he can eat the punches. And I think in terms of durability, I think Ruiz is a much more durable opponent than Miller. Whether he's got the same volume of punches, people make up to say he lets his hands go, all this, but whether that equates to what Miller throws, it's up for debate. But I just think Joshua's just levels above Ruiz and that caliber of fighter. I think Povetkin has given Joshua his toughest, arguably his toughest test to date. And I just don't think really, you can't just look at it and think Ruiz or Miller's going to really match that. And I personally don't think that's going to.
I'm surprised you said that, to be honest, because do you think then that because of the durability that this makes it a better fight against Ruiz?
I think it does. I really
You'd rather see this than Miller?
I'd rather see.
You'd rather see this than Miller?
Because I think
Yeah.
Ruiz is going to take Joshua around, whereas I think Miller's probably going to be like, although he looks durable, like a heavier man. Like people probably think that he's going to be able to sustain a lot more punishment. I just think when you're getting hit to the body and you're more like sort of in front to be able to take shots to the body because you've got a wider frame. There's little gaps where you'll be able to, if you drop a shot down
Find
to
the
the
openings,
body.
yeah.
I just think that Miller just leaves himself a little bit more exposed. Like he has quite a good defense against guys that aren't really going to throw punches, or he's not worried that they're going to throw punches because he stands up like this, tucks away, and doesn't really. Like you see fighters where they're able to drop their hands and cover most of their body, but I think Miller's kind of still leaves a few gaps here and there where Joshua's probably got the IQ and the intelligence to exploit that. But yeah, I think durability wise, it makes for a good fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if this was true, but I heard that Tyson Fury put him down 5 times in sparring, and we all know that Tyson Fury isn't a puncher.
Yeah.
So if he was doing that to Miller, if that's a benchmark, God knows what Joshua would have done.
Do you think the talk, though, kind of took over the whole kind of build-up to the fight, the narrative behind the fight? Do you think that kind of gave Miller a bigger kind of hype?
I think it had to, because that's all that would sell this fight. Both of us know, we're hardcore boxing fans, Coach as well, that this isn't something that sells on boxing ability. Klitschko and Joshua didn't have to talk. Why? Because everyone knows what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Hype was going to sell this. Nothing else was. So... does anyone know Baby Miller in America? He's not a household name.
No, he's not. No.
I mean, if Wilder isn't yet, then he hasn't got much of a chance himself. So,
I suppose you don't blame him for talking up a fight, but then again, you've got to be real with yourself whether you're good enough. And I just don't think if you're able to talk that much, I don't think even Wilder with the Wilder shenanigans. I even think if Wilder and Joshua were to have a press conference, I actually don't think Wilder would say a lot. I think he actually would be advised to not say.
Yeah, he shot himself in the foot recently though by saying things he shouldn't have.
Yeah, and the death comments and stuff
like that. Yeah, but then I guess Joshua has as well by saying, because in an interview, I think it was Michelle Joy Phelps, he said 50 million in our fight, and then they said, okay, here's 50 million, and then he went,
oh wait,
Eddie. So
but that even just brings it back to what we always talk about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like week upon week, we have people call in and they're like, oh, well, there's a flat fee there. Why didn't you take the fight? And it just seems to be money. Circulates around, and whether
it's the name of the game.
It's
just the name of the game.
And there's too much politics. So on the rest of that card, we've got Callum Smith facing Ndam for, I guess, really all of Callum Smith's belts. Interesting fight. Good look for him, do you guys think?
Good fight.
In terms of opponent?
He's still on that rebuilding journey at the high European / low world level periphery. Obviously, coming off that loss to Beterbiev, that was hardly a benchmark because he did brilliant against Buglioni, but the question is now that Buglioni's retired, everyone's thinking, was that just because Buglioni was better than people thought he was, or because he can genuinely mix at the world level? And that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and I think Ndam as well, he's proven that he can mix it with tough fighters. He boxed Martin Murray. Was that?
Yeah.
That
was that was just
about a year ago, wasn't it? Yeah. So taking Martin Murray 12 rounds. And then Callum Smith, obviously biggest super middleweight out there. You're naturally going to think, well, regardless of the fighter in front of you, it's probably going to be naturally more difficult for him technically to punch, having to punch down and having to adjust slightly to a bigger frame. Obviously, Groves had a lot more kind of reach and sort of a better kind of dynamic than.
I realised I've had him there. I was talking about Callum Johnson.
Yeah,
because I just thought, hang on, he said Callum Smith.
Yeah.
But it's an easy mistake to make because
I was literally thinking to myself, I was like,
this
same
I was
stable.
like, I'm going to put it back. I'm going to put it back. I was like,
Callum Johnson.
And you redeemed it. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a good fight for Callum Smith. I think after the Super Series, I think it's a chance to make a name for himself. He's a co-feature for that card. So just before Joshua, a lot of people are going to be watching him in the arena and probably on TV.
Yeah.
Great boxing family. Inde's an undefeated fighter. I'm not going to say I didn't rate him. I'd heard so much about him, but I hadn't necessarily seen it. But I think the Super Series, you can't doubt this guy now. He's a top fighter. He's beat George Groves, so he stops George Groves as well. I think Ndam, obviously it's not an opponent that's going to make it highly competitive, but it's the right opponent on this type of a platform at MSG.
Yeah.
So fair play to Callum Smith, especially if they want to try and get this Canelo fight going on. So he's
That was
passing
the
your
question.
next time.
It's
Yeah,
tongue twisters today.
but it's so the Canelo fight. So for me, and
Or Billy Joe Saunders.
or Billy Joe Saunders. I mean,
What is the ammunition that you guys think is needed to have a decent enough tune-up fight for that level?
Would you?
If you had to throw a name out there and think,
for
right,
Billy Joe, or for him to face Billy Joe, or for him to face Canelo.
for him to face Billy Joe, because they were talking about that in Liverpool.
Yeah, that's true. Tune-up fights.
Yeah, I don't think Smith would need one.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe like
Against
a
Nam,
Jose-
though, I don't think that's a good enough. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but sometimes it doesn't always matter. It just depends where the fighter is at in terms of their rhythm,
Yeah.
part of their career. In my opinion, point of their career. Because I do see, it's not the right lead-up fight, but
Even a good Gilberto Ramirez, that would be a good fight. But I think he's moved up to light
Ramirez
heavyweight
would
now.
be
good.
So
Yeah,
even if he drops down there, like there's a bit of money there.
But that's only official recently, right? Because obviously Billy Joe was contesting his
Super middleweight title.
so that was only recent. But yeah, so for me, Billy Joe Saunders, I think he would have a tough night against Callum Smith. I think that's a really interesting fight because someone's going to have to lose, you would think. But yeah, I think Billy Joe probably Callum Smith might be a bit too much for him.
And he got tagged last time.
He
got tagged.
Yeah,
I
he
never
did.
thought I'd see that.
Yeah,
Genuinely, because I thought no one could lay a finger on Billy
Yeah,
Joe.
he's very
But then
silky
it
spot.
shows there is chinks in the armor, even though he's got good, ring IQ and good movement. I mean, if you even for a split second at this level, if you drop your hands, and Callum Smith can whack as well.
That's what
so-
I mean. Yeah, and I think that Groves fight showed that. I know Groves will say the injury, but I think that kind of highlighted that. And I think it would be the size difference, the reach. I just think, and Callum Smith is a good boxer. I'll probably say, from a footwork perspective, Billy Joe's probably better. But coming up in a division, will that necessarily make the difference? I'm not sure.
Because who else is there at 168 really? If you turn to the champions, you've obviously got
Caleb Plant. There. I think he's a good fighter as well. I think
David
Billy
Benavidez.
Benavidez, but I do think Plant, Billy Joe Saunders would be a really good
Great
fight
fight.
because they're both silky. They both would talk. The press conference would be. Do you know what I mean? The press
Well, we
conference.
saw with the girl, didn't we? And Caleb Plant. So
It's
Billy
not the same
Joe's
when they
good
saw
at
each
winding
other.
up. Yeah.
Exactly, he's a great wind-up merchant. Then you got Tommy Cole going in against Chris Algieri. I think that's quite a close fight potentially, right? Tommy Cole shouldn't be going in there sort of like thinking I've got no chance. He should be pretty confident, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's he got to lose? He's at the Big Apple. His big
Precisely.
chance. Gone from boxing and whole leisure centre shows. Now he's boxing at the Garden. I mean,
That's an upgrade.
Massive upgrade.
Massive upgrade. And you've got to say, it's not like Algieri's one of the most feared opponents that you could be fighting in New York and the title for Rick. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Algieri, for me, he done okay against Khan, but, Khan did win the fight. Got battered against Spence Jr. So this is
There's no shame in that.
And there's no shame in that, exactly. So for me, I think Tommy Cole, if he gives it his all, should be interesting. And then obviously Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
Unification, Delphine Pearson. I'll be honest, I don't know much about this Delphine Pearson lady.
I'm in the same boat as you.
I don't know too much.
Yeah.
It'd be good. It's obviously
Good achievement.
Good achievement for Katie Taylor to just clean out the division.
Yeah.
And then I suppose go on to become a multi-weight world champion. I
Yeah.
think that's all really got to say on it.
Yeah, and I think I was going to say, sorry, go.
No, I was only going to say one thing on the fight before with Tommy Coyle. Is that the most competitive fight on the undercard, realistically? Because I thought about it. I
Yeah,
can't. There's not
probably.
really.
Yeah, good.
I think that unknown quality unknown quantity factor of Persoon, for example. We don't really know a lot about her, so I'd say probably on paper.
Yeah, because on the female fight, you're right. We don't know much about Pearson. I would say, you're right. Coyle, if he's up for it, he's gonna be. He's a coming forward fighter. So, and I think Algieri. I mean, you're right. I think it could be actually probably the fight of the night in all sense of the word, because Algieri likes to get into a scrap when he likes to. So, I think that's interesting. And I was going to say, Tommy, we briefly spoke about Katie Taylor, so obviously I'll let you do your little Homeland bias and talk about Netflix.
That's just off camera for us, man. Come on. And the new Netflix documentary. You got to check it out. It's good. It's a good watch.
I will do.
Especially for looking at a journey from amateur days right through to the professional ranks, and just to see how by stages a fighter can, even with knocks, like knockbacks and setbacks and tribulations, that they can go on and do that. So
it's a shame the film wasn't released in the UK.
Yeah. True. Started off.
In England. England, not the UK.
So other than that, go into Buatsi also fighting out. So we've got two young stars, and we'll talk about them individually. But Buatsi and Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
Buatsi, I think it's big move for him, right? Like getting that opportunity. I'm laughing at Raf because Raf.
He can answer this one.
No, you can't. Carry on.
Speak your mind, Raf. But yeah, no, but I mean, good opportunity for him. There's been question marks about the opponent. What do you guys think?
Sorry.
Yeah. What do you think about the opponent, Paraban?
I have to be careful. What I say here.
No. Speak your mind. We're on the show.
Maybe another fighter managed by Tunde Ajayi, whose name I won't mention, would have got a lot more stick for facing an opponent like that. But maybe there's a divine right or privilege for some.
I'm going to spit it out there anyway. For me, I think there is definitely slight similarities. The only thing I would have said about this one, in terms of this level of opponent, the guy's activity, is purely because it's in New York, and it's like they need to kind of gift wrap him to the
an icebreaker. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's kind of needed. Oddly enough, and it's slightly off topic, but again, like his guy's been in the studio a few times, I would have said Okoli, you could probably angle that against more than Buatsi, because I think if you look at who he's fighting, Massey, you got to say to yourself, Massey, you go back, it was Camacho. Before that, it was what's his name? Watkins. Was it Watkins?
Yeah, Watkins.
Or what? No, it was Watkins, and then there was a guy in between, Matty something.
Askin.
And
Wembley,
then and then you had
Camacho.
No, Camacho was recent. But what I mean
There was
is
a fight in
since
between.
Chamberlain's,
Do you remember
but
the
if you think,
Cheeseman one?
Exactly. If you think from Chamberlain, which was the start of last year?
Yeah,
And
January
it's
18.
what's really.
And even on the platforms, I mean, he boxed Watkins at York Hall, and it kind of creates that illusion where has her and a Matchroom kind of sidetracked Okoli down the more sort of low key show route, whereas Buatsi's automatically just been fast tracked and upgraded to all these big shows, and they're both of the same pedigree. There's no difference, and Okoli can whack.
Yes.
But obviously there must be some sort of consumer demand there.
Styles, right?
Because obviously Buatsi's a lot more potent with his style, whereas Okoli's a lot more kind of slow, but kind of will break you down, or he'll hit you and you'll be
more
stuck.
methodical.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I think it is literally just in terms of how their careers, not necessarily been packaged, but I think it is down to Buatsi's bringing a bit more knockouts into the game. You think of a guy like Quinlan, the last guy fought down at O2. I thought the MTK guy, and then you look at your Okoli. I just think his performances, people are struggling to get behind him.
I think it's in that transition of emotions where even in the build-up, you see.
Well worded. I like that transition of emotions.
Because with Buatsi, you see him so calm and collected, even in fight week, and even up to the time he gets his trim in it. When he gets, he's a new sort of new fighter, and in the ring, he's obviously so deadly that we just think, how are you like that? And then do that. But, and with Okoli, I think it's a lot more kind of.
Say it's arrogant. People think it's arrogant.
It's not arrogant.
Like
it's more.
I like it.
There's a word for it. Clout.
Yeah.
A lot more clout to do. And I'll be honest. It's a transition of those one fighter's there. He's calm. He's cool. But he can just switch like that, and he's a good fighter.
I think we have to put that in context as well. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but we also have to look at the strength and depth of the division.
Yes.
That isn't a cruiserweight isn't a division stacked. I mean, domestically you could say that, but he's above that.
There's a huge leap between that British and world,
and there's not a lot in between, so you can't even slowly transition or climb up the ladder. So
I mean, and this is why I think it's interesting because Lebedev retired, he didn't get a shot at that belt, but he's not high enough in the rankings. This is Okoli to actually.
Lebedev retired.
So that's why it's not happening.
Yeah.
And
When
Okoli's
was that announced?
maybe about a week ago,
Sorry,
or maybe he's not retired. Yeah, he does. But
that next gen show, isn't it?
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, so he's definitely not. I want to say he's given up the belt. So he's not fighting for that. I'm gonna have to do a check. So the Okoli's not fighting Lebedev, but he's not worked himself into a position to be able to fight from the number 2, 3, 4 spot. So yeah, he's got a bit of work to do. And I just think again, the likes of this Massey guy who's British level, so we know he's above that. Should he be fighting them? Do you know what I mean? He should just now really. They should if not unleash him, they should go on. Slightly miffed, maybe he's not in the US card, but again, like you said, I think it's just what Buatsi's doing at the moment, the way he's fighting. I think people were drawn to him in different ways to Okoli. But yeah, for Buatsi, it should be a good night. Josh Kelly is also making his US debut, right? Yeah, US debut.
US debut.
We haven't seen him in a while. Obviously, he had the
Just saw Alan.
he pulled out of that.
It was on the day of the fight.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
So he's been out for a while. Good fight to kind of just in terms of opponent. Guys weigh in terms of bouts. Somebody's only lost 3 times.
Yeah.
Kelly's only 9-0. So it's a kind of good fight in terms of gradually getting bigger and bigger. I think he could be another one that they plan to kind of unleash on the US market.
Yeah.
Hence with the Buatsi. So you're looking forward to seeing him do his thing over in New York.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, Josh Kelly. He's appealing on the eye. Although sometimes he's a bit kind of, in a way, he kind of mocks his. I think he mocks his style too much because he's always kind of hands down, even down like you don't really. With the whole sort of defense and adopting just like the conventional hands up, but even adopting that kind of mobility and like when he rolls under shots, and it's different. It's nice. It's unique to see. I think he'll impress on the US stage. I think he's got that kind of personality as a fighter.
Yeah.
Not the most talkative, but I mean does his stuff in the ring and keeps it to.
I'll be honest with you guys. I think it's embarrassing. I think he needs to grow up. I think it's embarrassing the way he behaves because Billy Joe's achieved something, and we see him do that every now and then.
Yeah.
He's in a position to do that. What's Kelly done?
Yeah.
As in, he's in his stacked division. He's not mixing it with the Sharks at the top.
10 hooks in a row.
Would he be doing that against someone at the top of the division?
Even the Avanesian fight. I mean, that would be a tough fight.
I think if he doesn't, someone needs to pull him aside and say, look, if you want to transition up this division, this particular division, arguably the most competitive in boxing, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
But
Easy, first or second, easy.
Oh, he's not like with that kind of antics against a Spence or a Garcia or a Porter.
And he wouldn't because he stopped when he got tagged. Did you notice? And that wasn't even a decent level opponent.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll even get a chance to recuperate against a Spence or a Garcia when you get hit once by them.
I mean, he's far away. He's way far away. I mean, I know he's fighting for international titles, but I mean, you've got to look at, like I said, the top 5. I mean, Josh Kelly. I don't want to say him and Khan they would never make that fight, but would he beat Khan? I don't know. You know what I mean? I know Khan obviously just been stopped. This is what I mean. So you just don't know which Khan turns up. Clearly not the one that faced Crawford, but I mean, Kelly's nowhere near trying to fight a Crawford.
But even Kell Brook at 147 drained at the weight. Would he even beat a Kell
that's
Brook?
interesting. Yeah, actually, yeah. Would he even beat a Kell Brook?
A year ago, we'd never even be having this conversation. No. It's amazing what can happen in a year.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you are right. But I think also it's that perceived lack of quit because you look at the guy that also, I think we kind of were maybe a bit harsh, but Jordan Gill, he was sick on the day. Same type of thing, and he's been getting and he's getting stick, but he's been getting stick, rightly or wrongly. And you look at Josh Kelly and you think the fact that he pulled out of the fight, are people now just being like, well, I'm done with you. So
if I speak, I'm in trouble.
But no, it kind of brings that that argument about fighters if they're not 100% fit. What's the point in taking a fight of that magnitude? Like even it doesn't matter if it's against a Tinoco or it's against an Avanesian. They're fights that will stop. They're fights that will progress you and take you catapult yourself to that world scene.
Yeah. So so we're gonna go through get some predictions for this weekend's card, starting with Joshua versus Ruiz. Raf.
Yep.
Calm yourself. Compose yourself. Boss man.
Joshua Ruiz. Anthony Joshua early stoppage. I'm going against the conspiracy theories.
Early stoppage.
I think 7-8 rounds. I think it's going to be.
Joshua gets to it.
It's going to. I think he's going to sustain a lot of punishment, but I think he's going to hold in for, like I said about the folding in and like a decking
like
chair,
a pancake.
like a pancake.
So I would say Joshua. I'm saying stoppage between rounds 4 and 6.
It's an upgrade on the burger.
Yeah.
Bit of Nutella, man.
Exactly, crepe. But I'm going with Joshua stoppage between rounds 4 to 6. Moving on to Callum Smith versus Ndam. How do you guys see that going?
I think early knockout.
Business as usual. Early knockout.
Yeah, I can see a knockout. I'm thinking more middle rounds. But I see Callum Smith getting a knockout there as well. Maybe 6 to 9. Then we've got Taylor versus Pearson.
First round knockout, Katie Taylor.
Why not? I told you there's the Irish bias
Yeah,
coming
it
out.
always comes out.
I don't know when, but I'd go for Taylor by stoppage or maybe on points.
Yeah, I think points as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
But again, I'm not really knowledgeable enough to comment, so I can't feel kind of stupid giving a prediction, if that makes sense.
I might
no,
feel
I mean-
stupid coming in next week and she's got knocked out in the first
Yeah,
round. All the
yeah,
hype
exactly.
talk, innit?
But I mean, for me, I will say what I've seen of Taylor. It's hard to. I'll be honest. And Taylor, you know, she's a talent.
Yeah.
I know we haven't really broken down her fight much, but I think look, she is a talent. I think, but when you watch her, you can just see she's so superior to other female fighters.
And
So
she
for
seems,
me,
yeah.
yeah. So for me, it's a case of. I just go into fight and I think, is this really a challenge? It's not like Shields versus Hammer, which was a great female fight that took place about a month ago. Kind of more of a 50-50. I just always think, Taylor's got these people's cards marked. So again, I think it'll be Taylor points. I think she just kind of cruises to beating people up.
And she manages to steal the show every time she goes out. And even if she cruises to a 12 round fight points victory, she just seems to have that in her to work for the 3 minutes of every or 2 minutes of every round and get the business done. And I think that's enough for the fans to look at her and think, wow, you know, she's setting the benchmark for female boxing in certain respects. And like with the Shields and Hammer, I think two fighters of similar statures and styles are going to produce probably a little bit less more entertainment, because Katie Taylor has that ability to be levels above you on the night, be able to adjust and just showcase all the stuff that she's gone through in the amateurs. Through to the pros.
Agreed on that. So in terms of Buatsi Buatsi and Josh Kelly's fights, obviously relative unknowns. How do you guys see those fights?
Buatsi by mid to early stoppage for myself.
Yeah, I agree. I think late. I'd like to see Joshua Buatsi go the full distance. Maybe just because of like the first time being on US shores, but I don't think he's someone that will be phased by that, especially having gone through like the GB cycle and boxed abroad. But yeah, I think a stoppage as well. Stoppage.
And the last one. So I'll say for me, both. I think Buatsi stops this guy. I think Kelly will stop his guy late. And Tommy Coyle or Chris Algieri versus Tommy Coyle. How do you guys see that fight going?
I think Algieri stoppage.
Yeah.
Algieri on points. I could see a late stoppage, but nothing before round 6, 7, 8 mid rounds. Yeah,
tough as nails, isn't he?
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it was an early knockout. Very surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interested.
You don't seem surprised.
No, I don't think there will be an early knockout. I don't know. Algieri, I could see Tommy Cole getting a bit of an upset here, to be fair. I know you might say...
You reckon?
But I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I don't know. Algieri, I've never been convinced by him. He's a decent fighter, but I've never been fully convinced with him about him.
Spent too much time in the kitchen doing all his other fighters' food preps.
I know he works in fighters' camps, Jacobs.
Would you bet on it?
I'm not a betting man anyway, so...
But no, it is a fight you think, like, Tommy Cole, like, I hope he pulls it out of the bag. Yeah. And there's no, like we were talking about earlier about how it's an even matchup. You said it's, and I agree, they're probably the most competitive fight on the card. So it's one of those ones that probably could go.
Yeah, so I wouldn't... I might put my neck out here and just say Tommy Cole points win.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Other than that, obviously, hopefully everybody enjoys the boxing this weekend. Last weekend, we saw the new prodigy that's been signed by Matchroom, and they're proclaiming to be the new Mayweather, Devin Haney. Stop his guy in the 7th round. I think, was it Roberto Morani or something like that? Antonio Moran. Looked good. Great knockout. Guys, what do you think about his performance? Him signing to Matchroom, DAZN. Think it's a good look for both of them?
A spiteful performance.
Yeah.
And I think he's...
I was going to say it's too early days to be drawing comparisons to Mayweather, but even though they're touting, but as Tom said.
Yeah, I just think, because, Haney's still young. I think he's, 20, 22, is he? 20, 22, 23?
He's 20, 21, yeah.
Oh, is he only that? So,
really?
He's
I
got
thought he was 24.
No, he's not that.
And
so
already...
Maybe 22 max,
Ranked number 3 the WBC, one title shot looming, so...
He wants everybody as well. From Lopez, Lomachenko, Campbell.
Quality fight.
I think he beats Lopez
now.
Oh yeah, easy. I think he beats Lopez. Lomachenko, no. I think he might give him a good fight, but I don't think he beats Lomachenko. No, you know what I mean? You've got to be real.
Yeah, of course.
You've got to be real on that one, as Spencer Fearon would say. But yeah, I don't think he beats him. Luke Campbell, I think he probably gets the better of him. Talks of Luke Campbell and Lomachenko being agreed or due to be agreed for the end of August, so that would be really good.
Yeah.
You would hope that's a UK fight. Maybe not Hull. Hopefully
Hull.
London. Hopefully
Stadium
London.
fight in the KC.
Is it the KC or the Tiger Arena? Or is it the
Yeah,
KC
the
Arena?
Tiger.
KC now. It's been
Lomachenko
named, yeah.
walking along, was it Hull, Blackpool Beach, and
I would go to that just for a laugh
Oh,
though,
it'd
because
be
that'll be a
good
proper
crack, yeah.
like everyone's just gonna be in one spot, like literally.
You just have Dave in the crowd, like Dave from Hull, like
That's what I'm
who's
saying.
this little magician you're walking out?
so that would be interesting. But yeah, I think for me, Devin Haney, yeah, he looked good. I do agree with you. I think it's too early to score at Mayweather sort of comparisons, but he looked good. I understand why they're going to shout and rave about him. He is American. He's going to be potentially their flagship fighter in terms of a home-based fighter.
You reckon?
Potentially, because who else
Yeah.
have they got on
Errol?
the US?
That's
No,
for
but I'm
me.
talking DAZN.
Oh, DAZN.
So for
Right.
DAZN, sorry.
DAZN US.
Yeah,
Okay.
DAZN US. So
DAZN
yeah,
US,
so I don't know who else DAZN or Matchroom US have that they could really push to say this is going to be our guy in the next few.
Yeah, as a
months.
flagship bearer, I think Haney probably will surpass the likes of Tevin Farmer. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think there's just a little bit of difference
This is
in.
it,
I think Haney's more of the full package in terms
Yeah.
of he's spiteful in his
Yeah.
performances,
Exactly.
and he hasn't had that stagnation that Farmer's had like before, and he's
Yep.
sort of only just kind of revived his career now that he's won the world title. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting journey, I think.
Yeah,
with Haney.
now I come to think about it, I can't think of anyone who would rival that. You're right about the DAZN US fight. I'm
Yeah.
just racking my brain trying to think
Yeah.
who else is there.
Not even a Joshua.
I mean, Joshua's UK,
He's
US.
UK, innit?
UK, yeah, exactly. So outside that, Canelo's golden boy. So, do you know what I mean? And
Katie Taylor.
Really interesting.
I mean, you never know with the Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a big Irish contingency.
In Boston.
I just think,
and-
are people going to rush to watch Katie Taylor or Devin Haney? I just feel,
Yeah,
you look at all the marbles that Katie Taylor's fighting for on the weekend, and it's not headline fight, whereas he's just headlined in the
and,
Maryland.
and just his youth, like
This
he's
is what I
20
mean.
years old.
He's
and
got time
already-
on his side.
He's got time on his side. You got the father died, sort of his father's advisor. Hearn's promoting him well. You also got him. He was linked to this lady, Black China. So in terms of social media, yeah, exactly. That wasn't a good look, but he was smart because it got his name out there. Everyone was asking who's this young kid driving this MILF around. So he got his dues. He was out there for what they call clout chasing. But yeah, no. So outside of that, anything else you guys wanted to pick up on?
I suppose Hughie Fury's performance from the weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know who he boxed, to be fair.
That was an awful stoppage. That was right around the back of the
yeah,
head.
I heard about it. I don't know. I mean,
Oh, right. Did you guys watch it or?
Didn't.
No, I
to be
didn't.
fair.
It was a shot around the back of the head, and the referee told him off, and they started counting.
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
And the
What,
guy
just
was stood up.
consecutively, like just what knocked
It
him
was
down? Or...
twice, and then as he was going, you know when someone's going down, and then just for good measure, someone sticks one around the back. It's naughty,
I
yeah.
think it's
So
give or take, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean, sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. But
yeah.
you know, I think there is one thing on Joshua-Ruiz. I think if you're a boxing fan, and this is a big statement, you should want Joshua to win, because if Joshua loses, that bubble bursts, the heavyweight hype bursts. He needs to win.
Oh yeah, he will win.
He needs to win.
Yeah, he will win.
I
then
don't know
the
why people want him
IBF
to
will-
lose, because
yeah.
then you won't see Joshua Wilder.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
won't
I'm
see Joshua
surprised.
Fury.
I think there's definitely, look, with all big fights, you get your people in your camps.
Yeah.
But I don't think if anybody that's being logical, if anybody's sitting there thinking Ruiz can beat Joshua, then I think, yeah, you're definitely in fanboy land.
Yeah.
There's no way, in my opinion, there's no way Joshua will lose to Ruiz
Unless he's injured, that's it.
unless he's injured. And it's, yeah, literally, and even then, I've seen fighters with one arm still beat guys up. So I
Yeah.
think even an injury wouldn't say much. What I did actually want to ask you guys, very interesting, in the interview with Joshua with Radio Raheem, he's got a few scratches on his face, bit of a black eye, and check it out if you haven't.
I
And
saw he's got a
Radio-
few plasters around his
yeah,
fingers
but I think
as
that's, I
well.
know that's with his skin as well, but maybe it is the punching, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know he's got kind of like a skin condition, I'm not sure
Yeah,
the exact
eczema
term.
on his-
Is it
Yeah,
eczema,
eczema,
yeah?
yeah.
Right. But in the interview, Joshua, so Raheem says to Joshua, oh, you know, all these marks, is that sparring, blah, blah, blah. And Joshua's like, nah, this don't happen in sparring, it's happening in physio. And then Raheem's like, what do you mean physio? And he goes, yeah, you know, just like physiotherapy. and you could see Raheem wants to push, but he's like, ah.
I don't want to lose the interview.
Right, and there's tension there. You can see there's a bit of tension because for the rest of the interview, Joshua's just kind of like throwing shots. So it's not like, you know, we're speaking like this. And imagine you're talking to me, asking me questions, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So he's lost
move on,
focus. But check that interview out because I don't know if it really means anything, but is Joshua getting tagged more in sparring than he used to be, or is it a case of actually he's not sparring with head guards, so maybe he's some type of punch resistant? I don't know, but it was interesting because you can clearly see his face is marked up, and the answer that he gave was a bit stupid in the sense of his physiotherapy. Because I'm sitting there thinking,
very rigorous beauty treatment.
do you know what I mean? Right? I was thinking, what kind of physiotherapy is that? But listen, we're gonna go to the call, open up the lines. Got the main resident here, Mr. Appiah. Are you ready for the call? Hello. Nope.
Just waiting for how you doing, fellas.
Oh, he's on mute. All right. No joy. Okay,
We love to support Daniel.
Exactly,
by no
resident in
means.
action. Other than that, looking forward to this fight. Any other UK fights happening?
No, just that next gen show. I think that was announced. Was it Craig Richards, Andre Sterling?
Yes, good matchup
for the British title. That should be a good fight. And then I think you said the Coley Massey. I don't know.
So that Sterling and Richards fight, as we got to get hopefully both of them. You know, that's supposedly the eliminator for Buatsi's belt. So that'll be really interesting if they're going to put. You would imagine Sterling came through, but you'd imagine Richards is a smarter
Just
boxer
a bit
than
more power,
him.
I think.
Yeah, maybe just a bit smarter as well in that ring experience. Because Sterling really made his name on the Cheeseman card, or was it? Or
the Gail Eubank.
The Gail Eubank,
against,
sorry, yes,
Ricky Summers.
Yeah, so that would be interesting. Other than that, appreciate all the support, guys. Keep all the love, Rafi. Anything last words from yourself?
I was a bit surprised by the merch launch. I just feel that was a little bit premature for Craig Richards.
The
spider.
for
Craig Richards, the spider. I thought it was a little bit premature because if you haven't won a domestic belt, to launch that, I mean, don't get me wrong, we saw his fan base live.
Yes, yeah, I think that's...
Were you there on the night?
I mean, I bought a spider early. I bought a spider early.
Hey, and Craig Richards, a guy, I don't know, I won't say you're kind of like a footballer releasing an autobiography and they're still playing. I half get what you mean, but there's something about him, he's got great support, so you kind of buy into that. And it's also a bit of a money spinner, so I do get what you're saying, but I think you got to look at it as like these guys are just trying to make a bit more extra money, and it's like, if 2 of us, 3 of us buy jumpers, that's an extra £100 in his pocket.
That's
so
it, and I suppose it probably saves him the hassle of having to spin around and drop tickets off and
I suppose so. Yeah.
all the other demands and responsibilities that small hall fighters have. But
exactly. So guys, listen, appreciate all the support as per usual. We're going to sign off in preparation for the big fight week. So make sure you check us out on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Raps on TV. Guys, you want to shout out your social medias before we go?
No, just firstly, safe travels to New York, coach.
Bless up.
And enjoyed the time at the boxing.
Do my best.
And fulfill the American dream, my brother.
Exactly. I'm going to Queens. Your social media, do you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, Raps on TV on all platforms.
Yeah,
Raps on TV. And remember on Twitter as well, a lot of our Instagram followers seem to think we're only on Insta. Remember Twitter as well.
And YouTube,
exactly.
that bloody YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube,
And all the articles online from Tom. But listen, guys, appreciate all the support as per usual. Take care and enjoy the boxing this weekend and the Champions League final and the Europa League final. Come on, Arsenal!
Hey, you goodness.